one of my favorite pieces of your work is obviously the Vincent short film you made in '82, but I was
That's
watching.
my best film.
I love that movie, but I was watching back, and there's that moment when Vincent is sent to his room, and he looks up at that painting of his wife, and you see the eyes in the painting, and I'm wondering. The eyes were big in that moment, so I'm wondering for you, was there ever any element there of Margaret's work in that moment, and how important have eyes been in your films throughout the years?
Well, very important. It's funny because you say it because I've always been attracted to actors that I'm attracted to their eyes.
Yeah.
You know, whether it's like Johnny or Winona or a lot of actors I've worked with. You know, Michael Keaton had those eyes. You know, because. I love people that remind me of like silent movie actors in the sense that they can sort of portray things without saying anything. So, you know, I grew up with this artwork around me, and you know, it was always felt like these eyes were watching you and staring at you from the walls. And so I think because it was so much a part of the culture at the time I grew up, I think it obviously had some sort of influence.
Yeah, but that painting, the eyes were big in Vincent. They were big.
I usually do big eyes, but small pupils.
Small pupils.
Not the same as the keen.
Yeah, little dots. Now, I'm wondering, I'm a movie nerd, so how did the painting scenes work? I mean, did Amy actually get to paint elements as we see her painting? Did you have somebody offset doing it?
Both. I mean, it was both. But Amy, you know, I think Amy spent one day with Margaret, but Amy's a very quick study, and Margaret gave her some techniques and showed her some things, and you know, she would disagree with this, I think, Amy, but she got quite good at it. I mean, you know, when she was actually, you know, you see her doing it, she was doing it. We did have somebody else that, because we needed paintings at different stages, so we had another artist who had studied Margaret's work closely and knew the way that Margaret did it. So we tried to recreate that as best we could.
Right. Now, I've grown up studying your movies. You're one of my favorite filmmakers of all time. I think you've made some of the greatest movies of all time, in my opinion. I really mean that. And I'm wondering, when I saw the trailer for this movie, I was sitting next to a buddy of mine, and it came on, he goes, that doesn't look like a Tim Burton movie. I'm like, what does that mean? Yeah, what does that mean? So I'm wondering, like, if you hear that, and then do you purposely try and get away from that?
Well, no, I mean, I never think of it that way.
Right.
I don't think of it. I mean, because it disturbs me to think of myself as a thing.
Right.
You know? It's an out of body experience. I mean, I don't know what that even means.
Right.
Like you,
yeah. Like, what does that mean?
I don't know. I don't know, and. Because I can't tell if it's a compliment or a put down.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So it's something where I don't really think about. Because for me, I mean, it's the material that I related to, I felt close to, I felt very personal about. So, you know, and I was there doing it. And so it is something, you know. So what that means, I don't know.
Same. I want to say to you, I think one thing you've done brilliantly through your career is your use of scores, and Elfman's music being a leading character in your movies. And I think it's so important because it really is the emotional driving force of a movie. Since it is a character in a lot of your movies, do you direct the score as if it was a character, giving it an arc? I mean,
no, I mean, because I'm not a musician, and sometimes I struggle to kind of communicate musical ideas to him. But I mean, I've been very lucky because, you know, right from Pee-wee's Big Adventure on, I mean, we just connected. And so, you know, a lot of times the best form of communication is kind of psychic.
Right.
You know? So we had kind of a psychic connection, which from the very, very beginning. I used to go see his band, Oingo Boingo, when I was a student, you know, when they were playing in clubs. And even before making movies, I always felt like, well, that music is very cinematic somehow. And so that's why I asked him to do Pee-wee's Big Adventure, and he hadn't really done a big score like that before. So, you know, we just connected, and I think that's helped, you know. And he's always trying to do something different as well, and actually just, as you say, be a character, another character in the film.
Yeah. Well, Mr. Burton, as a guy who studied your movies all throughout my career, this has been one of the greatest honors of my life to meet you. So thank you
really
so
nice
much.
To meet you.